Welcome to this part 2 of my presentation about the new and interesting handbook for dating Chinese porcelain from Facial Features and Adornments. The kind of information you can't Google. In this part of the presentation, I will show some of the contents of the book. The book contains the result of 7 years ongoing face project in the discussion group of Gothenburg.com. You remember from presentation 1 that 3,900 faces has been dated and categorized in 29 categories. Facial features from each category, such as outline colors, different hairdos, headgear, have been researched, as well as adornments for ears, hair, neck, and so on. And also different clothes and painting styles for mouth, ears, noses, etc. Each feature which occurs on the faces have been categorized, coded, and described carefully. Each is then checked to determine their age period and how often they occur on the 3,900 faces in the database. Let me show you some examples. Here you can see examples of the hairdos presented in the book. As I explained in my first presentation, all features have a code. For instance, all hairdos begin with the letter H. The codes are mostly created in a systematic way, so it's easy to find and understand them. The first one, the bald-headed shaved face, has the code HOO, and if the head is shaved but has one single bun, the code is HO1, with 2 buns, HO2, and so on. In some cases, I have not found a good systematic way to code it, but I think most of them are easy to understand. Each of the coded hairdos is described in the book with an image and a description like this. And for every code, I also provide a diagram. To show when the actual feature occurs and how many times it does. So if you have a piece with a figure which had this braided hair tuft, you can say that it's rather good chance it will date to about 1900 plus minus 10 years. But this was probably only one of many features in a decoration, and together they probably can give you a more certain hint for the time span of the piece. Let's also look at examples of headgear. Here are some headgear types presented in the book. All headgear starts with the code H9. These are described in the same way as all the categories and documented with images and diagrams. In this example, the Qing winter hat. As you can see in the diagram, it commonly occurs in the last half of the 18th century. Aside from some early 18th and 19th century examples, I haven't found them earlier or later. All headgear types represent particular periods in this way and can, together with the hairdos and other features, be good clues to dating a piece. Also, adornments for hair heads, ears, and necks have been categorized and coded in the same way. In addition, the length of the ear adornments has been documented. Code AE1 is a short ear adornment, and AE9 very long adornment, and AE5 something in between. In this diagram you can see when ear adornments occurred, and also when very long ear adornments were in fashion. A short period in the early 19th century and the whole of the 20th century. Here also is a description of AH5, adornment hair number 5, the red cords or stripes which often occur in later decorations. As you can see in the diagram, they appear from the very late 19th to the early 20th century. In the same way, I have tried to describe collar and shawls. Here is a diagram showing when different collars appear. Obviously, they were very fashionable in the 19th century. In addition to the face features, I have also considered the face outlines. They have been documented into 5 different color hues: black, orange, light red-brown, brown, and red. As it's difficult to tell all colors apart, I show the colors in 2 diagrams. Black compared to the other red and brown colors. And then also a diagram where I've tried to separate just the red and brown colors. As you can see from the diagrams, these outline colors can give very interesting dating information. I cannot of course guarantee that the facial features, adornments, or a special outline color will not occur in other periods than what I show in the diagrams of the book. But 3,900 faces constitutes a very large database from which to determine the period of a piece. I shall now show how we can be more certain in pinpointing a date. We do that using the 29 categories of faces which have been catalogued. Here are the representative examples of the 29 categories. When I divided the categories, I sorted the faces according to their individual facial expressions and/or any special features which could link them together and to a particular period. From the mid-20th century, it is however not possible to categorize faces by their expression alone. In this late period, I therefore try to create categories based on other features, such as type of enamel used. You can't see it in the table, but normally the categories contain 3 subcategories: men, women, and children. Let's look at one category, Q22, for instance, here represented by a face of a boy, but this category also includes the subcategories men, ZM, women, ZW, and in this case also older man, coded with ZMO. As you can see, there are some features that connect them to the same category. All have black face outlines, iron red highlighted skin and ears, mouth often highlighted with a red dot, double bottom eyelids, and a peering expression. In the same way, I have tried to gather all faces to a certain category. Let's look more at the boy. In the book, each subcategory is shown with the features which classify it to that category. To make it easier to understand, individual special colors have been used both in the text and in the face images. The subcategories has also a diagram showing when and how often they occur. And a description of the subcategory is also presented. Each subcategory also shows 12 face examples. The faces shown are carefully selected to give a good selection of faces and for the whole time span within which the subcategory occurs. The fixed or determined date together with the code is shown below each face. Faces which come from fixed dated pieces are all marked with a red flag in the top right corner. Here is another example, category Q15 with the subcategory ZW, women. This is exactly how the page is in the book. To make it easy to find the category and the subcategory, they are always displayed at the bottom of the page. Together with the normal time span within which the faces occur. And here are the 12 selected examples for this subcategory as shown in the book. Together, the book contains more than 800 such images for help to determine the age of a piece. One chapter of the book treats the problem with faces from copies and fakes. Some 100 images are shown to train the eyes how to distinguish them from authentic faces. In general, we can say they are much more stiffly painted, often more modern in execution, lacking the free painting style or expressions which faces from the actual period normally have. The book contains 163 comprehensive pages with features, faces, and diagrams. In addition to these, the book contains a chapter with advice for new collectors, a chapter for some shortcuts, which you can use to determine the age of a piece, and also a chapter of rain marks and Chinese history chronology. One chapter is also used for showing how the book can best be used in a case study. This will be the subject of my third part of this presentation. The reviews of the book has been fantastic. Here are some readers' comments about the book. I'm blushing and hope you have enjoyed this second part of the presentation. Welcome back to the third part, in which I'm going to present a couple of case studies of the best way to use the book. Thank you.